coming up.
Lordy. Ah! Oh, what the heck? These noob enemies can one-shot you? Come on, come on. Ah! Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, nope. Haha, get Seraph crowned, you falsy git. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beating Tales of Arise without arts was super fun, but with all this Final Fantasy hype going on, I think we need another run for the series. Welcome to RPG Challenge Runs, and today we find out, can you beat Final Fantasy XIII without dealing any damage? As usual, a quick dash through the rules. In battle, the player character may not inflict a single point of damage, but any damage dealt by our AI teammates or from enemies attacking each other is fair game. As always, we're playing on the hardest difficulty setting, but since there's only 2 difficulties in this game, it just means easy mode is banned. Finally, no glitches, hacks, exploits or gameplay altering mods. For full disclosure, we're playing on the PC version of the game using a PS5 controller and using the 5 graphics enhancing mods shown here because, you know, the game is getting kinda old. Alright, let's rock! After participating in a Black Friday sale, our protagonist Lightning feels the wind in her hair, and it's time for the first fight of the run, a tutorial battle against a Manasvin war mech. We don't have many options available to us right now, just attack and blitz, both of which deal damage and are therefore unusable in this run. And we have 10 potions which heal the party for 150 each. Thankfully, we can just sit AFK while our buddy Sazh here takes care of this thing. Can we just take a second to appreciate how awesome Sazh's gun skills look? Like, why the hell is he moving like that? I don't know, but it's really cool. Never change, Sazh, never change. Phase 2 and the war mech gains a new ability, Wave Cannon. This blasts both party members and deals massive damage. Sadly, Sazh doesn't have enough damage output, and before long we get shot down by a laser. In this game, if the main character dies, it's GG. So, yeah, we lost to the tutorial fight. That, ladies and gents, is how tough this run is going to be. Second attempt, and this time we're going to have to start using those potions. We make sure we wait long enough for our health to drop super low so that we can get the benefit of the full 150 HP restoration. Soon after, we use a second potion. We really don't want to have to use a third potion here, so we close our eyes and pray that Sazh can kill this thing quick enough. It charges up another wave cannon, preparing to finish us, but Sazh thankfully finishes it off at the exact second. Wow, look at that! You can see the animation playing out behind the victory screen. Oh, damn, that was close. Immediately afterwards, we gain access to our first save point / shop. Potions are on sale here for 50 gil, but we only have 200 gil and enemies don't drop money in this game, so we'll only buy them as a last resort. One great thing about this game though is that these save point shops are everywhere. It's actually rare you can walk more than a couple of minutes without bumping into one. Since characters in Final Fantasy XIII don't level up per se, battles like this one are literally rewarding us with nothing. No XP, no gil, no items, so we just try to avoid them whenever we can. While these initial battles play out, I have a confession to make. I actually like Final Fantasy XIII.
We have found the witch, may we burn her? Burn her! Burn her!
I think it's a good game.
Burn her anyway!
Okay, sure, it's linear as hell and the story is kinda hidden behind data logs in the menu, but its characters are fun, the graphics were great for the time, and the gameplay is top notch, especially in the late game. Anywho, these panthers offer a slight challenge, but we soon pick up more potions from a chest, orb, thingy. We take a slight detour to grab an iron bangle, giving us plus 50 max HP, nice, nice. Onto the first mini-boss of the game, Psychon Marauder. In hindsight, we played this fight quite badly by targeting the main guy first, instead of taking out the weaklings first. You can change your ally's target in this game if you prepare to queue an attack and then back out before actually using it. You can also change target with Libra. It's all a bit faffy, but yeah, this could have gone better. Still, we take them all out with a slither of health remaining. Job done. We now swap over to Snow at the Resistance front. Ooh, 50 gil. How generous. Thankfully our buddies Godot and Lebreau here are helping us out so we can just sit back and enjoy the show. The Hunchback of Notre Dame on the left here deals massive damage, while Lebreau on the right has the ability to use her own potions on the party. Nice. These guys won't be hanging around for very long though. Hey, ever notice how they have $HP? Well, we'll find out something very interesting about that later in the run, because the game kind of cheats in our favour. You'll see what I mean in a bit. On to the next mini-boss, Beta Behemoth, or Beta Behemoth for the American viewers. But we literally do nothing for the entire fight, and it dies. Yeah, I promise the entire run will not be this easy. After some sad times, we flick back across to Lightning and Sazh for another mini-boss, Myrmidon. We try to use potions sparingly, but still manage to finish the fight quite easily. A 0-star review though feels bad. Back to Snow, and Lebreau has left the party for some reason, so it's solo Godot all the way. We grab a new weapon for Snow, but we don't equip it. I mean, what would be the point? We can't deal any damage anyway. Time for the first glitch of the run. This battle's going well, right? Well, Quasimodo here gets bored and just stops attacking. Are you out of bullets or something? We let the fight drag on for over 10 minutes and nothing is happening. Godot can't even die because his minimum HP is locked at 1, something which you'd never normally see without this glitch. That explains why they won't show you exactly how much health he has, I suppose. Thankfully, after reloading the game, Godot gets his revenge. Nice. Over to Hope now, and excuse me sir, what are you doing off the edge of that platform exactly? After bumping into a Twitter user, we fly off to the Falsi Vestige and finish chapter 1. 100% success so far. We're controlling Vanille now, and our teammate Hope is a bit of a glass cannon. Low HP, but fairly decent damage, for now. We farm the enemies here for the drops like Deceptisol, which allows you to avoid combat or get preemptive strikes, and Fortizol, which allows you to start a battle with various bonuses. And for anyone wondering, preemptive strikes do not inflict any damage, so they're fair game by the rules. They just massively boost all enemies' stagger bars. We grab our first 5-star battle of the run, nice, and then we hit a roadblock. We're back with Snow and have to activate a switch to progress the story. However, it's blocked by these 2 wolves and we are alone. It's impossible to bait the wolves out to avoid the encounter because combat zones in this game are fixed to the level layout and not a radius around the actual enemies, if that makes sense. This means that using Deceptisol does nothing. We even try deliberately failing the fight, but we're forced to retry. This is one of those mandatory run fails that we need to accept in order to continue, because there's no way around this fight. We just use the minimum number of actions to take them out.
Just hold on, Sarah. There's the next one.
There's another unavoidable fight a few minutes later. I'll let you decide if you think the run is over already. In my opinion though, the show must go on. I'm curious though, do you guys have any ideas on how these 2 encounters could have been beaten without dealing any damage? Remember, we don't have the Crystarium yet, so things like the counter ability are off the table. We just head to the Winchester and wait for all this to blow over. A power wristband massively boosts Sazh's damage output, and we start to dodge, duck, dip, dive and oh, never mind. After more sad times, here's our setup going into the first main boss fight of the game, the Falsi Anima. Let's do this. From the very start, we exclusively target the central section and Snow is tanking most of the damage. We're on potion duty, but our supply is running low. Thankfully, after only a couple of minutes, the boss falls in defeat. Wait, what the hell? I remember really struggling with this boss when I played the game properly, so why is it super easy if you go semi-AFK? Maybe it's because we didn't target those spinning arms? Whatever, job done. We become Lassie. Yeah, don't ask. Get shot at by fireworks, have a little cry, and buy some nodes at the newly unlocked Crystarium. A reminder that you don't level up in this game, the Crystarium is the only method of character progression. After more Black Friday sales, we're forced to take on these guys. As the commando, Lightning is supposed to be the one dealing the heavy damage here, but we're stuck waiting for the 2 Ravagers to finish things off. If you want a quick recap of what each of the 6 classes can do, I'll put the info on screen now. We'll be trying to use Medic and Synergist as much as possible though, because those are the 2 roles that can actually contribute to a fight without dealing any damage. That'll be much later in the game though. At the moment we're stuck with Vanille being the team's Medic, which is unfortunate since we're controlling Lightning. I absolutely love the paradigm shifting mechanic in this game though, it's really unique and I don't think I've seen anything like it in any other game. We grab a silver bangle as well as a boatload of strange fluid. Like, who even takes an unknown fluid out of a chest like this? It could be anything. Why are you carrying it around with you? Oh, anyway, we're up against this Manners Van Warmek mini-boss now, and within seconds of the fight starting, we get 2-shot from full health. Wow, that was some massive damage! Second attempt, and we make sure we swap to the Solidarity paradigm whenever the thing starts charging up something big, allowing us to take advantage of the Sentinel's team-wide damage reduction passive. It's down in just 10 minutes. Next we hear a burn bigger than a Firaga.
I'll do whatever it takes. I'll finish this focus and keep Sarah safe. That's my promise.
Great job so far.
After admiring some gorgeous graphics, we take down the Alpha Behemoth mini-boss with very little effort and have a nice easy battle against these 3 watch drones. Oh, they're so cute and floaty and... Ah! Oh, what the heck? These noob enemies can one-shot you? Well, looks like we'll have to sneak past them with a Deceptisol and pray we don't come up against any in a mandatory fight. Another frustrating enemy is this Velocycle, who is super tanky and takes forever to kill. Almost 11 minutes for a non-boss enemy. What the heck is going on in this game? Some mobs are just too strong for us, but luckily this semi-secret shortcut cuts off a large portion of the map. Personally, I didn't even know this existed. After another narrow escape, it's time for the next boss, Garuda Interceptor. Lightning still only has access to damage dealing rolls, so we're pretty much just a spectator in this fight. All we can really do is shift paradigms, use items, and use the Libra technique to find out the enemy's weaknesses for our allies. It falls after a short while and we unlock new roles for some of our allies, as well as a ship to get to the next area. But just as things were looking good for us, we're forced back into another set of solo fights with Snow. Oh, please don't say we're going to get a 3rd fail. Well, thankfully not. You see, in this first phase, you can do absolutely nothing and just wait for the enemies to kill you. This still advances the story. After that though, we're up against the Shiva sisters for the game's first of 6 Eidolon fights, which are basically this game's summons. They don't have a health bar, but we have to impress them by maxing out their purple Gestalt bar. Damage is the primary way of cranking the bar up, but thankfully for this fight there's an alternative. If we put Snow in Sentinel mode and repeatedly provoke and Steel Guard, we can raise the Gestalt bar a little bit without actually dealing any damage. We even get a massive boost whenever we block Nyx's pirouette ability. With plenty of time on the clock, we gain our first summon. Job done. After watching a super funky news presenter, what the hell is this guy even wearing? The group splits up for Chapter 4. Sazh is with Vanille, while Lightning is with Hope. For Sazh and Vanille, the Archmage paradigm is the most useful. We play a Synergist to buff the party, while Vanille deals moderate damage as a Ravager. Thankfully, in many of these fights, factions of enemies are actually battling against one another, so they're pretty easy. When the groups merge, we keep Sazh on Synergist as much as possible. Time for the Dreadnought boss. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but as you probably know, Final Fantasy XIII is an extremely linear game. So please just assume that any bosses or mini-bosses we're fighting here are mandatory to progress the story. The only optional bosses are the missions on Grand Pulse in Chapter 11. I think the game gets a really bad reputation for its linearity. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much a corridor simulator, but there are some side areas and the late game is much more open. But yeah, if this game ever gets a remaster, it would be nice to get some small side quests or something added in, or just less mobs in the early game to allow players to reach the more open gameplay later on. What do you guys think about the linearity of this game? Does it stop you wanting to play it again, or are you not too bothered? Anywho, after 6 minutes the Dreadnought is dead and Lightning unlocks the medic role. This is huge because whenever we're controlling Lightning, we're now able to actually contribute to the fight. Nice! We do some upgrading, listen to Sazh make a factually incorrect statement.
This isn't a game.
And play Hope's minigame. What? That wasn't damage. We just gave them a little push. It's not our fault they exploded.
Bruh.
Next up is Lightning's Eidolon fight against Odin. Obviously we can't deal any damage, so we're stuck on healer duty while relying on our buddy Hope to dish out the pain. Thankfully, healing does seem to contribute to the Gestalt bar's progress, but only by a tiny amount. The fight drags on and we only have seconds left on the Doom counter. We just have to push that purple bar to the start of the letter G. Come on, come on. Ah! Are you freaking kidding me? Alright, let's go again. Same strategy, but luck is definitely on our side this time around. We fill up the Gestalt bar with a whopping 15 seconds left. Job done. That's our second of 6 Eidolons in the bag. After some neck-breakingly uncomfortable sleeping arrangements, it's over to Sazh and Vanille. I like how there's a bit of a secret in this area. After turning the generator on, you can actually backtrack quite a bit to find some new machines that you can turn on. Sadly, it's mostly just enemies, but there are a couple of treasures to be had. 6 vibrant oozes and 8 iron shells. Just mediocre upgrade materials, but it's nice to be rewarded for going off the beaten path like this. In a flashback scene, Snow is trying to find his fiancée Sarah, but his idle animation kinda has me worried. Snow? Onto the Gapper Whitewood, and we're now controlling Hope. This is great news as he's more of a supporting character, meaning our teammate Lightning can crack on with dealing massive damage. I mean, a backflip, really? Alright, let me show you something amazing in Chapter 5. Just after the save point there are 6 slugs. It only takes Lightning about 23 seconds to kill them all, yet we're awarded with a whopping 156 Crystarium points, which as a reminder is the only way to improve the actual characters in this game. If we then return to the save point, quit out and reload, the slugs are back. Rinse and repeat. But it gets better. Instead of saving and reloading, we can save even more time by simply taking this lift/elevator up and back down again to reset the mob. I timed it on my phone. It takes just over a minute to do a full cycle of killing the mob, running to the lift, going up, going down and returning to the mob. Needless to say, we were grinding this spot for quite a while. In fact, after some upgrades, we managed to get the battle time down to just 16 seconds. Wow! I actually felt really clever for finding this strategy until I googled it, and of course other people have already discovered it. Oh well, we max out the Crystarium for our characters and push on further. After exploring one of the game's few actual side areas, we take on the Aster-Protoflorian boss, controlling Lightning. This boss is weak and it was a really boring fight, so I'll save you time. The Crystarium gets expanded as a reward though, which is nice. After an awesome hoverbike chase, it's time to join back up with Sazh and Vanille for Chapter 6. The Sunleth Waterscape is absolutely gorgeous and definitely one of the best areas in the game. Battles are easy and we grab the Belladonna wand just in case we want a teammate Vanille to be a saboteur later in the game. We fight off some gremlins and take a moment to admire the view.
Would you look at that view?
On to the next boss, or rather boss duo, Enki and Enlil. Oh, such cute names for such nasty beasts. Normally this is quite a tough fight, but with all that slug grinding earlier, our Crystariums are maxed out and Vanille is a powerful healer. Sazh takes out Enki first, and we keep tactically swapping Sazh's role between Commando and Ravager in order to keep pushing that stagger bar up. After 11 minutes 20, we finish them off and the Crystarium expands again. Sadly, we don't have enough residual slug CP to max it out again yet, but we're still way ahead of where we should be. After getting soaked, we hear about a secret pipe network that only the kids know about, but not even the army has managed to find. Wow, these pipes must be super hidden, right? Like somewhere that trained military personnel would never even think to look. Well, the first one is barely 20 meters away next to a parked truck, while the main pipe is a 2-meter gaping hole straight ahead beyond a bridge that's on the main patrol route. It leads to a wide platform next to the city's main source of food production. But don't worry, it's fine. Only the kids like Hope know about that entrance.
You serious?
Lightning helps me produce this video's thumbnail, and we get very angry with these Flanitors who can use their rescue ability to heal each other. We just don't have enough damage output to win the fight. Luckily though, we can just dodge past all of them because there's no mandatory fights in this area. What is a mandatory fight though is this battle in Chapter 7. It's another solo battle with Snow, and he begins the fight on top of his Eidolon summon. In casual playthroughs of this game, this is a really awesome fight, but for us, it obviously causes a massive problem. We stall for as long as we can while desperately thinking of any way to advance past this fight. Surely if we just let the Eidolon's timer run out, the story will continue, right? Well, wrong. We get thrown off the motorbike and it's now a 7v1 with a character we haven't used since Chapter 3. Needless to say, we're dead within seconds. Thankfully, the game does allow us to access the Crystarium before our second attempt. We invest points into the Sentinel tree and gain the ability Vendetta. This move isn't an attack, instead it sets up a counter attack that damages an enemy back based on how much damage they dealt to you. It's a grey area, but honestly, I see no other option. With so much incoming damage, I kinda expected Vendetta to be one-shotting enemies, but nope. Check this out. Barely scratched the thing. Soon enough, we're dead again. Alright, let's try targeting one of the weaker enemies with Vendetta. We do have more success with this and get him down to low health, but we still get wiped. We can't even kill a single enemy from this mob of 7. Alright, I'm calling it. This is a mandatory story fight that is unwinnable without dealing damage, just like those 2 mobs back in Chapter 2. We use Auto, Gestalt and Vendettas to finish the fight, which I think is the fairest way we can do this. Bloody Snow again! That's our 3rd fail of the run, but psst, there won't be any more. We push ahead with Hope and we're putting a ban on Vendetta because yeah, it's kind of a grey area. Because of Hope's low damage output, an average weak mob takes forever to defeat. I mean, look at this first fight, it took almost 10 minutes to take them down. And for what? 154 CP? We were getting more CP from the 16-second slugs back in Chapter 5. Oh, sod this, we're using Deceptisols and pretending all the enemies have COVID. What's this trash? Insulated cabling, oh gee, thanks. Alright, deep breaths now. Whew. Fang finally joins the party and is the last of the 6 playable characters. More on her a bit later. After grabbing 2 grand that just happens to be laying around on an overhead gangway, for some reason, we are going up against the next boss, Ushumgal Subjugator. God, that feels good to say. Go on, try saying Ushumgal Subjugator out loud and tell me you didn't enjoy doing it. Okay, now I'm just wondering what percentage of you actually just spoke to your screen. Anyway, Hope takes forever, but there's no challenge here, so let's plod on. A few minutes later, and it's time for the next boss. Guess who's back? Yep, the Ushumgal Subjugator. I promise I'm not just finding excuses to say Ushumgal Subjugator as many times as possible. It's a solo battle against Hope, and I refuse to let us fail this run for our 4th time, so we sit and wait it out. Oh, come on, think. What can we do? Well, luckily after 90 seconds, a short cutscene plays in which Fang and Lightning join the fight. Our prayers have been answered. We're controlling Fang, which isn't ideal because 2 of her 3 roles are damage dealing roles, but at least she can use her tanky Sentinel form to actually contribute. This was a fun fight. I'll shut up for a minute and let things play out. job done. Here's a picture of Hope and his mother, apparently. What, you can't see any people in the photo? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, Hope's dad's apartment is under attack and we're soon pitted against this big boy, Havoc's Sky Tank. Yep, I kid you not, these three people are attempting to fight a large, heavily armoured flying battlecruiser using a sword, a staff and a frickin' boomerang. Oh, this is why I love Japanese RPGs. Anyway, its turrets are dealing non-stop damage while the main ship fires various missile barrages and plasma blasters at us. It's just non-stop carnage. I can't speed up the footage too much or else we'd have to put a seizure warning on this thing. Needless to say, we can't keep up and after 10 minutes we succumb. We grind a few mobs in the apartment to grab a few more crystarium nodes and upgrade our gear a bit. With our boomerang sharpened, here's our setup going into the Havoc Sky Tank boss fight once more. Our crystariums are looking great, everyone has accessories that boost their max HP, and Lightning will be stuck on medic roll for all 4 paradigms. Let's rock. The fight begins and we have 2 priorities. Use Hope to get protecting shell buffs on everyone and kill those bloody turrets. We use the cheeky Libra targeting strategy mentioned earlier to change which part of the ship we want our allies to target. After both hulls and turrets are down, the fight becomes much more manageable. It seems like we're never going to be able to stagger the thing, so we just play the long game, primarily using the Med, Com, Rav diversity paradigm and waiting for the W. It falls after 11 minutes. Wow, we actually beat the target time. Nice. Over to Sazh and Vanille at the city of Nautilus. No combat here yet, so we just get a few minutes of nice downtime. After some holographic entertainment, we meet some little sheep thingies.
Ooh, they're so tiny. Are we allowed to pet them? Look at these woolly little things. I just want to squeeze them till they pop.
Bruh.
And chase our baby chocobo friend about the place. Here's our setup going into the Midlight Reaper boss fight for those who are curious. It's a relatively easy fight because it's really slow and we have plenty of buffs, but our lack of damage output means we keep losing the stagger bar. By the time we do finally manage to stagger it, it's already almost dead. It's down in about 13 minutes. No rewards though, just access to a new shop, most of which are kind of useless in this game. But that wasn't the main event here. After another emotional scene, it's time for Sazh's Eidolon. What's this, the third one? Let's see, Snow, Lightning, yeah, this is the third one. I think everyone will agree that this is probably one of the toughest ones though, and it can be difficult even on a casual playthrough. We have a good first run, getting it to about 80% Gestalt before the Doom counter runs out. Second attempt, not quite as good. Third attempt, come on, come on. Nah, this isn't happening. After spending all of our Crystarium points, we get Vanille's Ravager roll up, and finally have this run. We have a rocky start to the battle as we get stun locked for 6 seconds. After that's over, our first priority is getting haste on both party members and swapping to Tide Turner and using Libra so Vanille's AI learns the boss's weaknesses and what debuffs to inflict. When we've only got half of the time left, we're both on yellow HP and the Gestalt bar is sitting at a little more than a third. Things are not looking good. We keep using buffs even when they're not needed because there's nothing else Sazh can do. Besides, it might help boost the Gestalt bar, who knows. That's right, with only 3 seconds left on the clock, we grab our third Eidolon. Damn, that was tough. We fly off to the Palamecia to fight some reskinned enemies. While we're here, I read an article the other day saying that an Easter egg has just recently been found in Final Fantasy XIII, so here it is. If you make your character go left, right, left, right, left, right repeatedly, for example by wobbling the left analog stick on a controller, your character will play an angry animation. It's quite difficult to pull off though. I managed to find 2 such animations with Lightning, including this one where she puts her hand on her hip. Her mouth moves too, so I think they were originally going to add a voice line here, but either they forgot or just decided it wasn't worth it. Just thought some of you guys might find that mildly interesting. We grab the Lifesaver weapon for Lightning, which may be useful later in the run if we play her as a medic, and use Deceptor to make our way through the dozens of mobs scattered everywhere in this place. We listen to this year's Oscar for Best Voice Acting.
No! Damn, let's see!
And do some skillful dodging. Whew, that was close. How about this one? Oh, yeah, get wrecked. The next boss, Kalavinka, has 2 phases. Phase 1 and we're stuck on healer as lightning. Literally nothing interesting happens, so I'll save your time and move on. After the party comes together for the very first time, and yes, this is chapter 9 of 13, we're back with Kalavinka for phase 2. Things are more difficult this time around as its Hellstorm Bolt deals massive damage, almost one-shotting a character dead from full health. Still, it's quite a slow enemy, so it easily goes down in only 5 minutes. We do the infamous flying dragon scene and finally have been given permission to change up the battle team. Great! Well, the catch is that we're not yet allowed to change the party leader. It has to be lightning. Oh. We choose to go with Sazh and Fang for now. Fang has good damage and can even go into tank form if needed, where Sazh is purely here for his ability to grant haste, arguably the best buff in the entire game. Battles here are pretty easy and we soon arrive at the boss door. Here's our setup going into the first Barthandelus boss fight. We have 4 paradigms with lightning constantly on heal duty, our equipment is decent but not great, and our equipment looks healthy. Let's do this. Barthandelus is a fun, tense and interesting boss because it's the first ever time the game doesn't feel like a tutorial. It genuinely wants to test your stats, skill and knowledge of game mechanics before letting you progress any further. We use Libra targeting to direct our allies towards the left airlet. Airlet? I think I'm saying that right. Hang on, what even is an airlet? A plate of forged iron or steel worn over a coat of mail to protect the shoulder. Oh, well, I suppose that makes sense. Anyway, after that's down, we go for the left pauldron next. Hang on. A pauldron is a component of plate armor, blah blah blah, covers the shoulder area. Oh, right, okay, well, we've all learned something new today, ladies and gents. Anyway, after both airlets and pauldrons are down, just like with that Havoc Sky tank earlier, the fight becomes a little bit easier. Only for a short while though. Later in the fight he gains some new moves. One to watch out for is Destrudo, in which he charges up these shiny orb thingies for a considerable amount of time, and if you don't manage to do enough damage to him, you know, because you're a nutcase trying to beat the game without dealing any damage, he launches a huge barrage that deals massive damage. Wow! Down to 21 health. Luckily we're able to get healed up before taking any further damage. Several Destrudos later and we somehow take him down. 16 minutes, not bad. We also get 6000 CP and another Crystarium expansion. Nice! After another epic dogfight, Sazh takes his eyes off the sky for a second and...
Sazh, look out!
Yeah, how did this guy become a pilot again? There's one forced battle here with Snow and Vanille for some reason, but after that we're finally able to choose our own battle team, including the leader. Woohoo! Okay, we're going to be playing as Hope, because despite his low HP, he has access to both Medic and Synergist, which are the only 2 roles we can really get any value out of. Second is Sazh, due to his access to Haste, as previously mentioned, and he's a cool guy. Fang is third, also for reasons previously discussed, like high damage, good tank form, and access to debuffs. What do you think? Is this the team you would have gone for? Now's a good chance to type something while we get these battles done, because, you know, comments, something something algorithm, something something video gets recommended to more people. Cheers. Fang? What are you doing over there? We passed that area ages ago. Come on. Oh, you just can't get the staff. Slugs here are not quite as generous or easy to farm as the ones in Chapter 5, sadly, so we just push on to the Cid Reigns boss fight. Here's our setup going in. Remember everyone that a lot of people consider this to be the hardest main story fight in the game, so brace yourselves, let's go. We're trying to keep buffs up at all times while keeping some debuffs on him. Although he can cure himself, which is a bit annoying, he spends quite a lot of time just guarding. We get him to around half health, then Hope goes and says something about Cid's mother. Wow, comboed or what? That was crazy! We go back to grinding for a bit and return with a slightly better setup. We definitely need to be utilising Fang's Sentinel form to bait Cid into attacking her instead of Hope. This time we get Cid super low, but we get stun-locked by mid-air ruins, and by the time we get back on our feet, well...
This isn't fair.
I actually turned the PC off here and left it for a couple of days. Hard rage quit. Right, we're back and we've done a little bit more grinding. Let's end this guy once and for all. We try to mentally time his guards and make sure Fang is in tank form when he comes out of guard, because that's normally when he does the kill combo. It's not a foolproof strategy, but after 16 minutes, he falls in defeat. Oh wow, that was one hell of a fight. We see what Final Fantasy XIII's version of Moogles look like, and we're quickly thrown into the Fang Eidolon boss fight. There's a lot of damage flying around in this one, and we do suffer the occasional party member death, but Vanille is a strong healer and Fang is a strong tank, so we do have a chance. There's not long left on the clock though, so we go as aggressive as possible, spamming the Gestalt activation button so we can end this as soon as it appears. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what? Did we get it? Wait, we did, nice! Oh, let's just check that back in slow motion. Oh wow, the 0 actually appeared, but the death animation didn't have time to play out. We were literally milliseconds from defeat. Oh, that's got to be a new record here at RPG Challenge Runs. As a reward, we fly off to Grand Pulse and watch a cutscene in which a chocobo gets ganked and brutally murdered by a pack of wolves. Wow, that's actually pretty savage for a Final Fantasy game. Anyone else feel a bit uncomfortable with that? Time for Hope's Eidolon Alexander now. We're forced to have Lightning and Fang on the team, and with no time to set up paradigms or anything, we barely get the Gestalt bar half full before the Doom counter hits 0. After hitting retry though, we're given the opportunity to set up paradigms, and therefore the second attempt goes much smoother. Not much to say about this one really, just keep healing and buffing. We still have 45 seconds on the clock by the end, which I think is our best Eidolon time yet. Nice! We now have 5 of the 6 Eidolons, but don't worry, the last one will be hellish. More on that one a bit later. These floating crystal things on Grand Pulse are optional side quest battles. Each gives an item reward. Some are good, some are trash, but each hunt is unique, and completing missions unlocks more missions. It's an interesting system that reminds me of the hunt boards in Final Fantasy XII, which were really good fun. I'm always sad that a lot of people don't make it this far into the game though. Anywho, here are some of the missions that we completed.
The memories, they're all pretty fuzzy.
Not as fuzzy as your glitchy hair. We push on with the story, feeling much stronger and much more confident, until this optional Juggernaut boss turns us into his own personal barbecue. Even with a fire resistance ring, things aren't much better. Let's avoid that one for now. The bomb enemies here again are pretty easy. They won't explode while you're busy buffing and debuffing, so just get all of that sorted out before actually turning on them. Pretty good CP for something that takes very little effort. Here's our setup going into the final Eidolon boss fight. We've moved 3 accessories over to Vanille, 2 bangles for increased max HP, and a sorcerer's mark for bonus magic, which should help with the healing. In the battle itself, we only have Fang to back us up. Where are the other 4 party members, I hear you asking? Well, dear viewer, whose question I just invented to make a point, the other 4 party members are nowhere to be found. Canonically, they should be stood just behind Vanille and Fang because they haven't gone anywhere, but for some reason they just don't want to help right now. This leads to a shockingly bad first fight. We go into the second attempt with a Fortis all up for some early stat buffs including haste, but well... Yep, not even halfway. There's only one thing for it. We need to grind some more. We start by taking the cave back to the open field area. We want to get strong enough so that fights like this one aren't tough for us anymore. We also need upgrade materials to seriously increase Fang's damage output, since she's our only source of damage in that entire... I've just noticed in the script I've spelt it as source of damage. Oh my god. Oh, you can tell I'm hungry. Since she's our only source of damage in that Eidolon fight. Oh, look at these fluffies. Hang on, how are they even alive in a place as savage as this? There's dragons, bear moths, big elephant things. Heck, a full-on chocobo got ganked by a pack of wolves not long ago. Maybe these guys just don't taste very good. Bruh. After completing some more missions, we unlock access to, you guessed it, chocobo riding! Woohoo! Just look at how happy this guy is. They can also dig up treasures like this gold nugget which sells for 60 grand. That will buy us a hell of a lot of upgrade materials. After assaulting a sheep, we're on the lookout for more monsters to kill and whoa, nope. Hey, have you ever noticed how often the characters in this game joke about Sazh being an old man? He doesn't even look that old, right? Let's check. Wait, he's 40? That guy does not look 40. Someone back me up here. He's late 20s or early 30s, right? Then again, this is the world of gaming, and Mercy is apparently 37, so I suppose anything's possible. This duo attacking each other are great for farming because they're easy, give lots of CP, and respawn every time you run up the hill and back. We easily get revenge on that Juggernaut from earlier, which hopefully demonstrates how much we've improved. Ha! The Vanille Eidolon should be a walk in the park now, right? Right? Oh, I refuse to go back to grinding. Here's our setup going into the fight one last time. Vanille has 1 HP boosting accessory and 2 magic boosting accessories, whereas Fang has all 3 accessories dedicated to boosting her strength. Let's do this, people. We use a Fortisol before the fight for the usual 3 buffs, including haste. Vanille can also now act as a decent synergist, granting vigilance and veil. We've also improved Fang's Ravager roll, so she can build up the stagger bar by repeatedly swapping between that and Commando. Meanwhile, we're constantly healing with Vanille and just try to stay alive. The strategy pays off, and we end the thing with 29 seconds left. Job done. The problem is that we're halfway through December, and as many of you know, our aim is to get one of these videos out on the first weekend of every month. And with Christmas to prepare for, we don't have time for all the optional side areas anymore. We need to get the game done, write and record the script, edit 268 clips together, etc. Time's running out, folks. We go for a ride aboard Atomus, fail to pay attention to a cutscene because we're more interested in what's in those 3 treasure chests in the background, complete more missions and enter Taijin's tower. Like the tower at the end of Final Fantasy XII, there's nothing interesting about this place. Just complete the missions to activate the statues and keep climbing. We do get a diamond bangle along the way though, which is pretty nice and a strict upgrade over all of the bangles we're currently using. Falsi Dahaka is next, and while the boss is easy to stagger, it has a boatload of health. It's not particularly difficult and doesn't dish out much damage, it's just a bullet sponge. 8 minutes later and we're ready to push on. We arrive at Erba, or rather the ruins of Erba. It all feels really sad and depressing. Oh, I know what'll cheer this place up. Repairing this old robot Bacti, and have it spit out a boatload of super rare and precious items for us. These sell for over 500,000 gil. Wow! This allows us to massively upgrade almost anything we want. It's a shame a lot of players don't even know about Bacti and his rewards. It's a super easy side quest, but it isn't marked on the map or anything, so a lot of people will miss it. I know I didn't know about it until I was trying to 100% the game for the Platinum Trophy back in the PS3 days. Here's our setup going into the second Bartandalus boss fight. Hope is looking great with a maxed out 2nd tier weapon, 2 strong HP boosting accessories and a magic boosting accessory. Sazh's gear is a bit worse, but his weapon is also maxed out. Fang's gear is good with a very strong level 56 weapon. Here are our paradigms and a quick flick through the crystariums. Let's do this. No Aelette or Pauldrons this time around, it's just us versus Bartandlis himself. Again, lots of people online say this is the most difficult main story boss in the game, and I think you could make an argument for that. Bartandlis loves dishing out status ailments this time around, so you just have to stay on top of those, as well as the healing, buffs, damage and tanking. It's a lot to juggle. Thanatosian Laughter is a strong move to watch out for. There's very little warning, and then it's just like boom, and everyone loses tons of health. A reminder though that if the paradigm contains at least one sentinel, everyone gains damage reduction. So swapping Fang's role when a move like that comes up is essential. The fight continues and we try to have Fang keep debuffing him for bonus damage. After only 8 minutes, the fight is over. Dare I say it, that actually wasn't too bad. But we all know who to thank. Yeah, thanks for the easy win, Bacti. With 100,000 CP in our pockets, we fly off to Eden to begin Chapter 12. As soon as we begin Chapter 12, however, we hit a roadblock. A solo Eidolon fight with lightning against this Anavatapta war mech. Oh my god, I said it right the first time. Please say this isn't a repeat of the snow fight from earlier. We don't want a fourth fail. Well, we let the timer expire and see what happens. Okay, we're joined by Snow and Vanille. Not ideal since these are the three characters we haven't been using, meaning they have rubbish weapons, no accessories and out-of-date crystariums. To make matters worse, the default paradigms given to us are trash, and the enemy has a 100% invincibility barrier until it gets staggered, which takes a very long time. After 7 minutes we get the stagger bar to 190%, but please don't let it run out, please don't let it run out, please don't let it run out. Ah, Snowman, what are you doing? We do manage to finally stagger the thing, but look how much damage our teammates managed to dish out before the barrier goes back up. Yep, we went from this to this. The fight is supposed to take you seconds, and yet it took us almost half an hour. Let's move on. I really don't want to talk about this guy anymore. Good news at last. Hope finally learns haste, meaning Sazh is now redundant. Poor Sazh. You know what, let's keep him on the team. There's a strong argument for putting lightning in instead, but we'll see how it goes. I swear this game delivers its story better in loading screens than the actual game. Check this out. The fal'Cie have activated the Ark hidden beneath the capital, releasing an army of Pulsian terrors into the city. Well, if you didn't quit and reload, you wouldn't know that information because the game just shows monsters coming out of portals without any context of where they've come from or why. Like, why are you putting more information in your loading screens than the story cutscenes? Again, I really like this game, I'm just poking fun at it, but let's be honest, the storytelling is kinda jank. The graphics, meanwhile, wow, this is absolutely gorgeous. Please re-release or remaster this game. Nothing special about the Proudclad's first boss encounter, so I'll save your time. What is tough though is the subsequent mandatory fight against an Adamantulid. As soon as the fight starts, the thing is just stomping and quaking for repeated, massive damage. We're dead in seconds. Second attempt and we need to keep a sentinel in play at pretty much all times until we get all of our buffs activated. Only 4,550 CP, but we do get a gold dust which sells for 15 grand. Nice. We find a new weapon for Sazh. This one gives strong chain bonuses, so will be really powerful when he's in his Ravager role. We spend a lot of money and resources getting this thing upgraded all the way through stage 1 and even up to level 16 of stage 2. I also like the glass floor mechanic here. For anyone who doesn't know, you can only pick one of these two treasure chests before you pick the other one up. If you haven't killed this huge Adamantoise behind, which most people won't be able to at this point in the game, it smashes through the floor and you lose access to the other item. Getting the 6 particle accelerators was definitely the best choice here. The Proudclad boss returns and again it's a slow fight. It's got a huge health pool and good damage output though. On our first attempt we go down to a retaliatory strike combo. On our second attempt though, he's not so lucky and goes down quite quickly. That's another 100,000 CP in the bag and we're done with chapter 12. Time for the final chapter of the game inside Orphan's Cradle. This place is pretty cool visually, and most early fights are pretty easy. The first boss, Jabberwocky and Bandersnatch, is just a reskin of the duo we fought back in chapter 6, and mechanically not much different. Needless to say, they went down very easily. Wow, I think we only dropped below green health like twice in that entire fight. There is a hellish mob blocking the path just up ahead though. These guys were tough and required 6 or 7 attempts to take down. Still, we have to push on. We're nearly at the end of the game, guys. We're so close. The next boss in our way is Vladislaus, who was named by a cat walking over a keyboard. The guy doesn't mess around though, he just comes out of nowhere and kills us in seconds. What the... After that it's just death after death, until we finally have this run. We try to keep a sentinel up at all times because it's obvious that this guy wants a quick fight and can one-shot anyone with his mounting contempt skill, so we want to slow things down. We never manage to stagger him, but he goes down all the same. Job done. See this duo blocking the stairs? Yeah, it's one of those Vladislauses alongside another super powerful enemy. I forgot to record, but this duo destroyed us at least 5 times and it wasn't even close. No matter how much grinding we do, we cannot beat this duo. And the only way forward is up the ramp. Wait, let's just see if we can... sorry, excuse me, sorry. Woo, nice. I don't think we could do that a second time. Tiamat Eliminator is next with a defensive form and an offensive form. Nothing special about the fight though, except that this one took double the target time to take down. Ouch. With all that nonsense done, we arrive at the final boss arena. Here's our setup going in. It's similar to what we saw recently, but it's here for anyone who's interested. Brace yourselves everyone, because this is going to be tough. Let's go. Bartandalus is up first and he's battering us with various explosions as we try to get our stat buffs active. Thanatosian Laughter makes a return, which as always deals massive damage. This isn't his only trick though, because he now also has access to Ultima, another hugely powerful AoE spell. Our teammates managed to stagger him, and shortly after another Ultima, he falls in defeat. That took less than 7 minutes, which is a really strong time. However, we have one last enemy to face, Orphan, who has 2 phases. Orphan kicks things off with a merciless judgment. Alright, just a weak attack to get the ball rolling, right? Nope, it deals massive damage, almost one-shotting the entire party. Ouch! We need to get healed up and buffed up ASAP. He then summons a white cloud to constantly heal himself, which cannot be prevented, and just keeps slapping us. Things are looking really good though. Maybe we can actually do... Wait, what? We were at max health! Let's just rewind a sec. Progenitorial Wrath, eh? Okay. Well, after a quick Google search, it turns out that this is an insta-kill death spell with a 50% chance of working. And remember, if the party leader dies, it's game over. Damn, that's a really frustrating game mechanic. Maybe the second attempt will be a bit better. Okay, right, maybe not. On our third attempt, we try to keep Fang in tank form as much as possible to pull the aggro. Orphan has his white healing cloud again, but also a black cloud that deals annoying scraps of damage. We get cocky though and swap Fang off tank for a few seconds, and, well, you know what's going to happen next. Next attempt, insta-death. But then on the next run, just kidding, another insta-death.
This isn't fair.
I totally agree, this does not feel fair at all. Screw this, we quit out and go buy a Cherub's Crown. This thing grants 30% resistance to instant death, but can be upgraded to increase the percentage even more. At max level we use a Perovskite to upgrade it to a Seraph's Crown, which is an even more potent version. We also had a spare bit of cash lying around to upgrade Fang's Power Glove and Sazh's Sorcerer's Mark a bit more, meaning they'll deal a tiny bit more damage. Meanwhile, Hope's Shaman Mark gets replaced by the now maxed out Seraph Crown, granting a whopping 60% instant death resistance. Wow! We now have 50 less magic, so we'll heal a tiny bit less, but this is definitely a worthwhile trade-off. The Bartandalus fight is the same as before. He's dead in just 2 staggers. Nothing difficult there. Our first attempt against Orphan goes well until he inflicts the entire party with fog, preventing us from casting anything. A merciless judgment then wipes out our teammates and Hope gets spat on by the black cloud. Honestly, it felt kinda refreshing dying to something other than an insta-kill. Eventually, after attempting this boss for hours, we finally have this run. As always, Orphan kicks things off with a merciless judgment for massive damage. We're all critically low. The Medicine Sab evened odds paradigm is great here though, because we can heal up while Sazh and Fang get the buffs and debuffs sorted out. Orphan is hungry for an insta-kill, so he soon uses his first progenitorial wrath targeting Hope. Oh, nope! Haha, get Seraph crowned, you falsy git! We're gonna have to be quick though, because although it's unlikely that we get insta-killed, it's still possible. Roll a dice enough times and you'll eventually get a 6. A bit later, we get hit by all of this nonsense. We can't use magic skills or physical skills and we're stopped. Thankfully, this doesn't prevent the technique Dispelga. For just 1 TP will remove all stat buffs and ailments from everyone. It's a double-edged sword, but a necessary one. We have just enough time to get healed up and partially buffed before the next merciless judgment slams down for more massive damage. We try to keep a sentinel up often, but it's not as essential now that we have the Seraph's crown. We desperately try to max out that stagger bar. Eventually it does, and after a few strikes from Fang, he is out of there. Job done. Beaten in under 10 minutes too. Nice. So that's the end of the game, right? Wrong. There's one final phase, which admittedly I had forgotten about. Orphan is back, but in a shiny spinning wheel form. It doesn't deal too much damage, but just like in the Eidolon fights, there's a doom counter ticking down on us, so time is the real enemy here. Consider this battle a DPS check. To make matters worse, Orphan is 100% invincible until you stagger it. The problem is the stagger bar gets fully reset every time it uses the skill Temporal Hollow, which is very frequent. With only Sazh being a solo Ravager, this just isn't happening. We try to go aggressive, but get wiped out by a kaleidoscopic ray. Upon choosing retry, the game gives us an opportunity to swap up our current equipment. We give Sazh and Fang more damage in exchange for their max HP, which is essential. The infamous Seraph Crown can now be replaced with something else. Let's see here. Yeah, quick recovery from ailments, that'll do nicely. On the second attempt, we keep getting stun locked, and with barely any time left, we've lost the stagger bar and haven't inflicted a single point of damage on the thing. Retry. During the third attempt, we take full advantage of a hidden game mechanic. Swapping paradigms precisely after Sazh uses the final skill in his chain of 5 grants him a full ATB bar. This works for any teammate and seriously helps with their damage output. It can't be repeated infinitely though, and the timing is kinda awkward to pull off reliably, but it's enough to get our first stagger. Yes! We use this time to knock half of its health off. Nice! Sadly, we don't manage it a second time and the doom counter finally runs out. Oh, we're so close! Before going into attempt number 4, we swap up the paradigms since we no longer need a sentinel. We go for Rav 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 Try Disaster and Rav Com Com Aggression. A reminder that while we will not be dealing any damage, having a character in a role grants a passive boost to allies. So having Hope be a Ravager will help our teammates fill the stagger bar faster, even though we're just going to stand there doing nothing. After the usual buffs, we enter Try Disaster and the stagger bar is just flying up. We occasionally need to swap back to Diversity for healing, and so Fang's commando roll can stabilise the stagger bar. Just over a minute in, and Orphan is easily staggered. But we need to get healed up, so we're slow getting into aggression mode. We're getting unlucky here as Orphan is being unusually aggressive, and we're soon dead to another kaleidoscopic ray. Finally, we have this run. We swap aggression for Strike Team. This will be our main source of damage output after Orphan gets staggered. The fight itself was nothing short of a bloody miracle. Here, check this out. That's right, it may have taken us 5 minutes, but the final boss is dead. Can you beat Final Fantasy XIII without dealing a single point of damage? Yes, you can, except for 3 solo fights with Snow. That was really good fun, slow at the beginning, but really intense in the late game. Could we have done anything better? And what game do you want to see next on RPG challenge runs? Honestly, I'm up for anything. Well, that's all from our friends on Cocoon for today. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy, we also did a run of FF12 without using any magic or shops, and it was a solo van only run. Definitely worth a watch. Stay safe everyone, see you later. Cheers. The next boss in our way is
Senpai, you should like and subscribe!